Chefs at home. Hi, we are cooking in the kitchen for our brand new segment. Fresh. We are coming with the heat. We're coming with someone who's no stranger to the cameras, someone who has pioneered a lot of what we see in the hip hop game today, someone who has done a lot in terms of media, someone who has crafted narratives, built brands, and ultimately we're here to talk about his brand while cooking in the kitchen. It's a double entendre, this thing. So it only makes sense that we had a hip hop great with us. We are launching episode 1 of Chop It Up. And our guest today is Nota. How are you?
I'm a stranger to the kitchen.
Stranger to the kitchen, but not the game.
Not the game, though.
How are you doing?
Good,
So
I'm
today,
good.
we're gonna make chicken burgers. So
Okay.
nothing crazy, something light, something nice.
Okay,
But
cool.
we're also gonna have a discussion while doing so.
Mm.
Yeah. So choose. Do you want a wet or a dry batter?
I'm a stranger to the kitchen. A dry batter.
A dry batter.
Yeah.
Let's start with our seasonings, let's start with our flavor.
Okay.
I just want you to walk us through what exactly do you... I think for someone who is quite popular, and someone who we see in the...
Quite well known, yeah.
Yeah, we see you in the face of the media quite often. We don't actually know what it is that you've built your brand on, because I think a lot of people control the narrative when it comes to those kind of things. So what is your narrative, if you were to sum up what it is you do?
Well, I try to make sure that people can't pin me down or pigeonhole me. You know what I mean? So people always want to know, what do you do? Who are you? Are you a painter? Are you, a graphic designer? And I always keep it a mystery.
Okay.
As to what I do.
Okay.
And we're in Africa.
Okay.
So there's a lot of spiritual games that can be played.
Okay.
I never want people to actually have a figure on what it is that you do.
Okay.
Because they might be praying on your downfall. So, yeah, man, I do a lot. But mostly, I love my country and its people.
Okay.
And I'm trying to show the world that our human resources are much more valuable than our mineral resources.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay, so you're a person who deals with humans,
Yeah.
stories and brands
And
stuff.
culture.
So
Right.
why is that a thing for you? Because there are people that go through life, they don't care.
Yeah.
And I mean, for me, so why do you want to live for others and show people that hey, we matter?
Well, I mean, it's for myself. It makes me happy. You know what I mean? It's I like being helpful. I like being useful as well. So yeah, that's why I do it. I feel very useless if I'm not doing something to help someone.
Yeah. So I'm handing over the reins.
Yeah, let me just.
Oh, you want to see some more? Oh yeah, give it a hand, step up, yeah.
It's a wrist thing, you know what I mean? It's a wrist thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not for squash players.
Oh, okay. Standard. Okay, so where does your story start, specifically in the media, right? Because I know that you are in the media as early as the age of 8.
Yeah.
And that was covering Young Minds, Genius Vibe. What was the story that was going on?
Yeah, so I was identified as a young genius, a young protege.
Okay, and at the time you were in school?
Yeah, I was at Radford, so I was in grade 3.
Oh,
so it was just before my 9th birthday.
Right.
Actually. So, I guess my story begins when I was born.
Yes.
My parents struggled to have another child after my sister.
Okay, and that's part-time, right?
Yeah, I was born in the hospital. Was in Parktown, Florence Nightingale. But it's now, this Florence Nightingale maternity ward is now at Brenchurch Clinic in Parktown.
Okay.
So right there, Parktown, Hillbrow, that's where I took my first breath. Right in the heart of the city.
Okay.
And yeah, so from that moment onwards, they prayed for this boy, and they had 6 years experience, or 5 years experience in raising a child, a girl child. My sister, who was a model,
Okay.
she also went to Sharon Primary.
Oh, okay.
She started her primary school at Macaulay House,
Oh, right.
which is a convent school. in Parktown,
So
right?
it's not
Or an
sure.
open park. Yeah, it's an
Yeah.
open park. So they finally had a son, and they named him or me Nshamulo because that was the answer to their prayers.
Oh.
You know what I mean? Because they've been praying for another child,
Okay.
and they finally got one.
And that is in what land?
Nshamulo.
Yeah.
It's Xitsonga.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're Tonga speaking, or is it just?
No, I'm Xitsonga speaking.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. You can't just assume that because a lot of Tonga speakers or a lot of Tonga people, you know, are too shy to speak their language or teach their kids their language. So, fortunately for me, my paternal grandmother was very, you know, adamant that I should speak and communicate.
In your language.
Yeah, because she didn't know English at all.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? She didn't know any white spoken language. Like she didn't know Afrikaans either. So to communicate with her, I needed to speak my mother tongue, and yeah, so that makes me stronger. But I've got a mixed heritage because my mother is a mix. She's 75% Xhosa
Okay.
and 25% Sotho. So I've got a mixed heritage in that partly Xhosa, partly Sotho,
Yeah.
and mostly Tsonga.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in terms of what that means for school, because you're in a private school and it's not during the time that we exist in now, right? So I'm assuming that like there isn't, even if there's more black boys or black
Are you
students.
listening to that?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have another one?
No, I think we can use the same one. It's just
Can you just rinse it?
Straight.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So you're saying?
So, what was that experience like? Were you ever compelled to assimilate? Because you have branded yourself as someone who will compromise. No. So, did you feel compelled to assimilate to the white school environment? And what was the white schooling environment like?
So fortunately for me, right, because of my family history, my mother's youngest brother was very much involved in, you know, the struggle. He was an MK combatant.
Okay.
And a member of the SACP, like Chris Honey. In fact, he worked with Chris Honey. And as well as David Makura, his best friend, his BFF.
Yeah.
You know. So my parents got involved because my dad basically bursted my uncle, his wife's younger brother, to go to Vista University, which is now UJ Soweto, right? And then when he got there, he got radicalized and then he got involved in the struggle. And when he came back from exile after training in Russia as a state security agency, or NIA, National Intelligence Agency operative, he had all these war stories and was telling us about apartheid and everything else, how we are lucky to grow up in this era where we are free. Because like he's our uncle, right? And he's got kids, our cousins. And our cousins, for the first couple of years of their lives, didn't know their father or didn't grow up with him. So it was about, yo, uncle, where have you been? Where were you?
Yeah.
So with that history and learning that history from my uncle, I already was conscientized from a very young age.
What are we talking? Age range?
Like from the young age, from the moment I started speaking, I was conscientized, you know. Like my mom was very close with her brothers.
Okay.
You know, she's the only girl.
Okay.
And she's got brothers.
Okay.
She had 2 twin brothers that died as infants that she never met. Polio.
Okay.
In the 50s, polio was big before the vaccine came about. I think they got the polio vaccine in 1952, which is the year my dad was born. Which makes him a baby boomer. The baby boomers is everyone born from 1946, like Donald Trump, Joe Biden, etc., Barack Obama, up until 1964. So when she came about, her mother sent her back to the Eastern Cape to be raised by her grandparents, my great-grandparents, you know. And my grandmother was a singer.
Okay.
Yeah, her name is Aurelia Nomazo Jali. She died in 1963. and she was a singer in the same era as the Miriam Makelas and all of that. She's very
So it was
very talented.
political. We're talking about political, the type of singing that she's doing. She's just more.
Well, she's just a great vocalist. She could sing really well,
Okay.
but she had a thyroid problem. They didn't have iodated salt back then.
Yeah. So it was.
Yeah, it was an issue, and she was also anemic. So she had an operation, and she didn't survive. She had that operation for thyroid so that she could continue singing, and she passed away. Then, so my mother was practically raised an orphan.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah. So with her younger brothers as well, she was very much involved because she was a lot older than them and her younger siblings. So we were very curious about our heritage as a family, as children, and our parents taught us that, as well as the heritage of this country, and politically as well. And when I was born, like the police used to like raid our house all the time looking for my uncle. Like he was in exile already skipped the country with David Makula, our former career,
Okay.
and the head of policy for the ANC currently. So with that, in our household, we were radicalized as children.
So is that where you and kind of your sense of rebellion, to put it,
Yeah.
usually comes from? The fact that early on you saw people and the struggle and what that meant.
Yeah.
What that meant.
Yeah.
You were never scared to challenge authority.
Yeah, no, I was never, like, my parents raised us to challenge authority, even their own.
And what did that look like early on for you? Like, if you can recall the first time you challenged authority, what was that?
Well, like me jumping over the fence after they told me not to play anymore.
Okay.
And lock the gate. Like, simple things like that. I remember when I got chicken pox at 3 years old, we were still staying in Deep Kloof. And I was told, yeah, you've got chicken pox, but I didn't know what that was. So you're not allowed to play with your friends. So like my mother closed and locked the burglar gate, but didn't close the door so that I could have air. You know what I mean? So I called her, and I screamed, and then all my friends gathered at the gate. I was like, yo, jump over the fence, come on this side. And they were sitting on the stoop and playing with me, which defeated the purpose because now we're touching each other and stuff like that. And but I mean, it's not a bad idea to allow kids to spread chickenpox amongst themselves. It helps them inoculating one another.
Oh, okay.
So I think that's my first memory of my rebellion. But my rebellion started like even as young as 18 months.
Oh.
I don't remember this, but I was told by all my cousins because it was a legendary story. So my parents were getting ready for a wedding, right? And my mother was taking too long to get ready. And my dad was sitting in the car with me. You know what I mean? And it was a big deal because, he had a Mercedes Benz and that was a big deal back then. And he left me in the car and to go tell my mother, yo, hurry up.
Yeah.
And by the time he came back, the car was in the neighbor's yard, having gone through their fence.
You took control.
I think I released the handbrake of the car and it was on a hill.
Yeah, and then it just
went.
So when does perhaps your more public rebellion start? When is the first time you were in some sort of trouble? When there's, hey, we must cancel this one. When did that kind of controversy happen? If you can recall.
Well, I don't know, but I don't think like anyone that has ever thought of cancelling me thought about it because they want to cancel me. They just thought about it because they're jealous of me. You know what I mean? So they're like, this guy's influential, this guy's smart. So I've always had that rivalry, like with other kids. That you're like, this guy gets all the attention. Whenever there's a guest at our school, the teachers want the guest to speak to him. Whenever there's a speech to be given, he's the one that's always
giving the speeches.
So I've always known that I intimidate people. You know what I mean? That don't have the same amount of confidence
as you.
Yeah, because they weren't raised in families or in homes where, they could have their own opinion or could have self-confidence. You know what I mean? So it's just a difference in upbringing. But also at the same time, because we're a lot better off than a lot of my other family members, I was taught never to feel like because we live around 4 ways or
Yeah.
etc. that are better
Yeah.
than my cousins in the Eastern Cape or in the Mpopo or in the Northern Cape or in the Western Cape or wherever it is. You know,
Yeah,
I have a
yeah,
family,
yeah.
you know, in the Free State, you know, you name it, I have a family almost everywhere.
Yeah.
So I've struggled to, you know, differentiate between that and actually people gunning for me, you know, for any or whatever reason it is.
Yeah.
So I guess my whole life it's been like that. You know, I'm light skinned and taller as well. So like I always get told that, hey man, you're too light skinned to be taller.
Yeah.
You know, which I take offense, but you know, I understand where it comes from. And coming from a mixed family, right? Like my mother's side of the family used to say funny things.
Yeah.
You know, like they used to say, when your parents got married, we accompanied your mother because we thought that they were gonna eat her.
Yeah.
You know, because they thought Amashanga. Yeah, but we're not Shangan, we're Tsonga. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which is also another complicated thing. So yeah, I mean, I guess my whole entire life I've always had to deal with people just, you know, just taking a disliking to me for some or other, you know, obscure reason. But it's never been like, I've never felt like I'm actually disliked because the people that would feel like that are people that didn't know me or that felt that they couldn't benefit from me in some way, so therefore, you know, they were intimidated.
So when do you decide, you know what, I think music is my calling and I'm going to do something in the industry? And why, or what did that look like initially for you? Like, did you start off writing? Did you start off rapping? Like, what is the process?
That's exactly what I started with. That is not my fault because my phone stays on silent.
I think it might be mine, connected to my laptop. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
No, it's your FaceTime.
Yeah.
Hey, that can get you in trouble one day.
Never. I'm a very good one.
Okay. Yeah, you know, you're good until you're not. You know, let's not waste the chicken. Come on. Let's keep this one also.
Give it some love.
Let's do this. I'm sure there's a corner.
So you say you start with writing?
Yeah, I started writing songs. So back in the day, you had CD singles.
Okay.
When CDs first came out, we used to print CD singles. So when I was 6 years old, my mother got me like a collection of hip hop singles.
Yeah.
You know, Notorious B.I.G.
Yeah.
Everything Bad Boy. Because I went to watch a movie called Kids, right? As a kid.
So you're listening to B.I.G. at 6 years old?
Yeah.
Big movie?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'll tell you the story of how. My mother didn't really listen to the music before she bought it for me.
Okay.
So I watched this movie called Kids. There's these kids that are skating or whatever, and they're sagging their pants.
Yeah.
So then I started sagging my pants as a kid. You know what I mean? When I come back from the cinema, my dad's like, like every time I come back from the cinema with my mom, my dad would ask us, okay, what did you watch? What was it about? You know what I mean? So he's telling the story, and I was like, yeah, and they wear their pants like this, baby.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, that is the most ridiculous thing. Why would they wear their pants like that? And I was like, oh, why would my dad just like this thing? I thought it was pretty cool. I'll start wearing my pants like that. So as an act of rebellion.
Not that.
Again. You know, as an act of rebellion, I'd sag my pants.
Yeah.
So then that became my style.
For sure.
Like, I sag my pants in the household. Okay, cool. Nice. So my dad didn't like that I sag my pants, and my mother was like, whatever, you know, let the kids express themselves, you know?
Yeah.
So then she went to CD Warehouse in Sandton.
Okay.
And she asked the guy, because she was buying music for herself, but she also wanted, we'd go on family trips.
Yeah.
And then on our family trips, everyone would get a turn to play their CD.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? So she needed to buy CDs for
everyone.
For my little brother and I, for my sister, for herself. Okay. So she asked the guy who works there, what music do the kids that sag their pants listen to? So then the guy just thought, okay, let me give them some bad order.
Okay.
And they had singles in it. And in the single, it would be the single itself, the radio edit, the instrumental, and the a cappella.
Okay.
So I'd be listening to this in my own collection, so I listen to it as much as I want to. And I realized that, you know what, I can actually change the words. Because back when we were growing up, especially in Soweto, like my sister and her friends, they would sing songs, right? But remixed it. It was a thing that was done. Like Michael Jackson, Don't Stop Till You Get Enough. They changed it to, you know what I mean? So I also did the same thing, copying my sister. I also create my own lyrics for the song that I was listening to. And yeah. Are you leaving it? Okay, you're not chopping them up. Okay.
We're going to caramelize it.
Okay. Oh,
yeah. You're going to make
okay.
them.
Oh, yes.
It takes a while.
Yeah. So that was that. So I didn't know that I was actually writing music. I just thought I was doing what my sister and her friends do with their songs. And yeah, that was that. And that was the beginning of me actually writing music.
Yeah.
At 6 years old. And then I decided my own versions.
Yeah.
And then eventually, you could use the headphone inputs as a microphone, because you use the headphones and then you can speak into the headphones and record on a cassette.
Okay. So before we get into you actually recording, I want us to just sort out some of the technical issues that we're listening to. So I think I'm going to pause and then get back.
Okay, cool. I was older. I realized that I was writing music.
Yeah.
So by the time I was interviewed by the newspapers, you know, I told them that, you know, when I grow up, I'm going to be the next top daddy. You know? And
at the time, was there any scandals around him?
No, he was he was
the
a
role
music
model.
producer and everything else. Yeah, but even with these personal scandals, I mean, him being a role model was just for the stuff that he was doing from a work perspective. You know, it wasn't like he was a role model as like a father figure. Like, I've got a dad. I don't need anyone else to be my role model. You know what I mean? Yeah. So like, it could never be anything bad that I saw as a role model in business. And yeah, so over the years, from the age of 12, I can say I pursued music like fully. And that's when I decided that I was going to get into the space. And
that's you just recreating.
Starting making beats.
No.
I started making beats at 12 myself.
Okay.
Making my own beats at 12. I started with EJ before I got Fruity Loops.
Okay.
Like I only got Fruity Loops when I was 14 when I was 15. Yeah, about to turn 15. So I went to St. Mary's Social. And then I met this guy called Eli, or Elijah Mbala.
Okay.
He is a tech entrepreneur now.
Okay.
You know, he owns a payments platform called Tumatap.
Okay.
You know, and yeah, he was outside the school. They were having a cipher, and then I came to the cipher, and then I started battling everybody, and I killed everybody.
Yeah.
In that cipher.
Murdered them.
And Eli's like, yo, your raps are dope. You need to come to my studio. I got a studio at my crib. And yeah, that's what he did. He invited me to his studio, and then I went there, and then he's like, yeah, when you get home, install this Fruity Loops.
He put you onto the software.
Yeah. Instead of making these EJ beats, because you're not really making beats, you're just arranging sounds with EJ. So
and everything you're doing at this time, you're self-taught and learning as you go.
Well, I'm self-taught, friend taught, my friend taught me, you know, so like, yeah, we're teaching each other as kids. And we're learning. Eli is a year older than me, he's a 1989.
Okay.
So yeah, he went to Summit College, and that's where I met the Major League twins as well. They also went to Summit College. It's now Pinnacle College.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. In Riverside. So that was the beginning of my journey in music. And Eddie was like, yo, man, what are they doing? What they're doing in the States, we can do here as well. So he's like a big dreamer, visionary. Everything that we're seeing from the States, he's like, we can do that.
Yes.
So, you know, he gassed me up. And then I started buying into his BS. You know, and I also believed it as well. I was like, oh, okay, cool. Yeah, we can do it. You know, we can do what Jay-Z and them are doing. And that was it. You know, I never looked back from there. And I also realized that the influence of music can get you to the upper echelon, so you can influence the politics and the culture of a country. I mean, one of my idols, Puff Daddy, started the Vote or Die campaign. The Vote or Die campaign in the second term of George W. Bush. Just remember, this is after 9/11. George W. Bush was looking for re-election, and John Kerry was going against him. No, not John Kerry, sorry. Al Gore. Right? Was it Al Gore? The first time, yes, he beats Al Gore the first time around, and the second time around he beat John Kerry. And then Al Gore lost because of some voting scandal in Florida, whatever the case may be. But in the second campaign, when he was contesting John Kerry for re-election, Puff Daddy jumped onto the campaign. He was like getting the youth to vote, getting involved in politics. So I was encouraged that the journey that chosen. Well, I could circle back to politics after I've got a certain level of success. Once I'm at Puff Daddy level in music, I can then circle back to politics. So it made sense.
It wasn't too different from what you knew.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't far from my purpose or what I was raised to be. You know what I mean? So yeah, that was.
So when you get your first big break, because you know it is obviously the case that there are many people that have the same or may possess the same kind of ambition. You know, want to make it big, want to do what they're doing in the States. But there are many upcoming artists that will never be more than upcoming. So there are many people that will never know how.
Yeah.
So how do you make sure that you take your drive and your vision and you monetize it, you scale it, and you make it something that is sustainable?
Yeah, when I made Sugar Snacks. So there was a Sprite hip hoop tour that Ventilation, Slicker and Sugar Snacks company, Ventilation Productions was doing. And I just, by happenstance, happened to be in a taxi going to Breed, which went past Mary Fitzgerald's Square. And that's where they were holding the event. So I got off the taxi and I realized, oh, okay, there's rappers on stage.
Yeah.
And I got off there and I was like, I belong here. I should be here. I should be going home. Let me start here. And yeah, I met Sugar Snacks and Slicker that day. Slicker gave me the office number. Sugar Snacks gave me his cell phone number. I called Sugar Snacks. I told him I make beats. And then we arranged a meeting on one Wednesday, because I was on Wednesdays we got off school a little bit earlier.
Yeah. And
I asked my sister to pick me up. She was working at CSID at Wits at the time, and I was going to school in Brixton at Rauco, Metropolitan Rauco at the time. And then my sister picked me up and then took me to Rosebank, where I met Sugar Snacks outside, where it's Starbucks now, it used to be Standard Bank. Outside Rosebank, I gave him the CD with my beats on it. He called me back a couple of days later, said he's recorded a lot of the beats, the tracks, and I was like, okay, but what do you think of my songs? I also my songs. Yeah, well, we'll get to your songs later.
We'll talk about that another time.
Just give me the sets for this song.
So
then that's when I realized that, okay, maybe my raps are not, Squatter Camp doesn't think my raps are good enough.
Yeah.
And, it was actually the first time I met them, but I was still a lighty, was 2003. MTN did an event, a youth day event at Parktown Boys.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Mark Gilman was there, Tabelo was there, one of the original Channel O presenters, the guy with the back teeth.
Okay.
A whole lot of people. My cousin Specs was there, so he got me backstage. I met Nikki Greenwald there, she was interviewing artists backstage. So I'd met them before. But this one was the first time I'm meeting them with somebody to present, like 6 years later, 3 years later.
Yeah.
Because I was 13 at that concert, at that youth day concert. And yeah, that was like really my big break, because from there, I got into social media because we started to promote events with my friends, and we used social media to promote our events. And then we booked them, Sugar Snacks and Slicker for our events. They brought in Questa, there was a new artist that they were working with at the time. I was like, yo, you guys can really get into social media marketing, because I was marketing the event on social media, and I realized that their social media was just lacking.
Yeah.
So I had the opportunity because during life orientation, they had like job shadowing. And I was like, oh, let me use this as an opportunity to show them my social media thing. So I asked them, yo, can you please do my job shadowing project at your offices? I did that, did the job shadowing, and they were like, yo, we need this. We need it. You know, you can come once a week after school, come on Wednesdays, because I get up early on Wednesdays. And then we do it. And do it for us. And then that's how it started. So I brought up in my school uniform and started working.
So in terms of know-how, right? Because especially now, perhaps in piano, I don't know how popular it was back in the day in terms of hip hop, right? But what was the division like? Was it artists crying about exploitation, or was it people that have already been in the game showing and teaching, okay, this was the cheap is?
That's an age-old story. So the thing that my experience with Squatty Camp is that they'd already been through the major label system at Gallo, and they went and did a joint venture with EMI Virgin, which is now Universal, and Electromode and Groups, all the same thing.
Okay.
That's when they did the album which has You Feel Like Dancing Tonight. So after that they went completely independent. You know, after their Virgin deal. And by the time I met them, they were fully independent, ventilation productions and by being entertainment, we were running things. And so that's what I got to learn. And when you're sitting in the office while you're doing your own thing, it's a very small office. I mean, the office was probably half the size of this kitchen. You know, but like full size of this kitchen with the storeroom at the side. You overhear what's going on. You know, they were doing events. I know Slicker was working on the first legit campaign, the Itch Girl campaign with Bonan.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So I got to see what they're doing in terms of talent management, branding, and all of that. And I learned all of that through just watching them and what they do, and also contributing through whatever social media amplification was needed for whatever they were doing, you know. And like I think after the first couple of months, I saw Sugar Snacks signing a check with royalties from Legit for Bonan's clothing deal for 174,000 rand. You know.
And that was at the time a lot of money, not a lot.
Yeah, 2007 was a lot of money.
Okay.
174,000 rand. It was just a couple of months into the campaign. You know?
Already.
Yeah.
There was numbers.
There was already numbers on, for the clothes. You know, they did It Girl line. They did a number of It Girls also got that line after that. But Bonan was the first one because the idea, the concept came from Slicker. He pitched it to Legit and they took it on and then they continued it with other talents afterwards. You know? And that's where I got to see that, damn, there's potential in this. I got to see that there's royalties in clothing as well. And they already done a deal with Kappa for the SK or Square, SK Wear sneaker. So they had experience in this. So that's where I learned about all of that, and it was just about doing what I've seen them do at a higher level and for more money over time. You know what I mean? And
So then when do you get into artist management?
I can't say it's artist management. Like I'm more of an artist developer.
And what was that? What would you make that distinction?
It's
Since it goes because we think it's the same.
Yeah, so to develop an artist is to train them on how to be a brand. You know what I mean? And how to present themselves as a brand, as well as how to produce music and create as well. Like guide them and coach them and how to have self-confidence. You know what I mean? Because we're an aspiring artist. You come into an industry where people are already big names, they're people that you look up to, they've made names for themselves, and you want to find your space. And you need self-confidence to believe in your own talent, and you also need self-confidence so that you don't get taken advantage of when you are encountering these big names.
For sure.
You know what I mean? Or the people that you idolize. So that's what I've been doing. And then artists are also brands, so that also taught me brand development. You know, and one of my coaches, when I was playing soccer as a teenager, it's African Warriors.
Okay.
Was it African Warriors?
What?
I forgot. But it was a soccer club that was started by former Kaizer Chiefs legends, Karate Ndwa, and brand guru Terry Behan. He's an Irish guy that moved to South Africa back in the day. He was a brand guru, you know. So he taught me a lot about branding. You know, he teach me about what he's doing at work and what a brand is and all of that stuff. And then my mother also studied a lot. She studied at IMM, a lot of times she did public relations. She didn't finish it, but I mean, she did it, so she got the textbooks, marketing, and all that stuff. So I'd read all the textbooks the same ways you would read Harry Potter, you know, and that's where I learned everything.
So you start learning, you start growing. And
well, I'm always learning. It's not, I never started learning.
Yeah.
From the moment I took my first breath,
you were learning.
I was learning. Oh, this is life. I am alive. Okay.
Yeah.
This is mama. This is papa.
Yeah.
Okay. How do you say mama? Ma. Ah, yes. So from that moment, I've been learning.
Okay.
Even to this day, I'm always learning.
So in terms of music though, when you start this entire process, because it seems like you had a lot of good fortune, you know, meeting the right people, you had a good network, right?
Yeah, well, I built a good network, yes.
Are you enjoying this entire process? Are you enjoying the game? Are you enjoying the music industry?
I enjoy learning. So there's a lot to learn. So anything that gives me an opportunity to learn, I enjoy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And yeah, that was that, you know. So I had good fortune. My uncle, the same one who came back from exile and radicalized me.
Yeah.
When I was 12, he took me out to drive.
Okay.
Yeah. He taught one of us how to drive. You know what I mean? He's like, yeah, you need to drive your mother around. So, you know, if there's an emergency.
You need to be able to
And
help out.
I was 12 when the first emergency came about. So we were on vacation at Kwandani
Okay.
in Kutalichara.
Yeah.
Between Kutalichara and Kwaka, the resort in the Drakensberg Mountains, and then we're going to a boat ride or ferry ride on the Stadtford named Dam. And my dad is working. So when my dad works, we go on vacation with just my mom. And then we can bring some friends as well. Because like my sister will share a bedroom with my mom, and then the rest of the bedrooms the kids can share.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So while we're walking to the boat, my mom took a shortcut. You know, while my brother and I took a long way around, and then she fell down she fell down the cliff face, and then she broke her pelvic bone, or fractured her pelvic bone, and then an ambulance came, took her. She went to Harry Smith Hospital, and she called us and said, "Hey, you know, she's stuck here, she hasn't seen the doctor yet, or anything." So I decided, okay, I'm going to drive to her.
Okay.
And another friend of mine who was on vacation with us, Josi, his parents also taught him how to drive. So we both knew how to drive, so I had the confidence of like, okay, fine.
Let's go together.
Yeah, so we drove up the gravel road, drove all the way to Harry Smith Hospital, saw my mom, and she's like, yeah, all the doctor's given me is this is ibuprofen. Then called my dad, like, Dad, you need to get here, you need to bring us home because we won't be able to drive back home. Come here right now. My dad got into a taxi to Harry Smith, and then yeah, we picked him up, and then we drove back. Well, he drove back to the vacation place we were at. We packed everything, and then we picked up my mother at the hospital, and then we took her to Brentford Clinic.
Okay.
Yeah, there was an orthopedic surgeon there who was one of the top in the country, Dr. Schneider. You know, and yeah, that's when we found out that the pelvic bone is broken. That's when we did a first X-ray. Then he couldn't walk for like 6 months, and it needed like calcium supplements to help her bones go back. And yeah, my uncle teaching me to drive came in handy, and also because now me driving comes in handy, my mom started allowing me to use the car to do things.
Yeah.
So I had access to certain things. I also had networks that are inherited from my older cousin, Six. So
Why gave you the backstage access?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, that's networks. So now that I'm backstage, when they meet you backstage, they take you seriously.
Yeah.
And you start like you're in the crowd.
You're not a fan.
You know what I mean? So I was able to go to places like Horror Cafe from as young as 13 years old. I was in the club, you know. I know with the whole Jay-Z thing, people are like, why is this girl in the club at 13? Well, I was in Horror Cafe at 13. You know what I mean? And that was like one of the venues where hip hop was. And then once, I mean, the parties that were happening at Horror Cafe were an offshoot of what started at B Club.
Okay.
And B Club was started in 1997, and my cousin Specs was a part of that.
Okay.
So everyone that was involved in B Club, I knew them through my cousin's networks, and then I expanded my networks after I started interning at Bada Bing and Ventilation, because they had a broad network. So, you know, Slicker would take me around on some of his trips because, you know, like my mind and the way I think, and I always contributed new ideas. So he'd take me on some business meetings, etc. You know, he'd also present his presentations to me as well, like his PowerPoint presentations before he goes to pitch to a client. Just run them by me as well. You know what I mean? And then he also takes suggestions. Well, not really advice, just like, you know, just like, this is what we do, so learn this. You know what I mean? I think he was like, yo, anyone who's in the office who wants to learn this is how we make money, you can learn it. And I'm the learner. So I like learning, so I was like, I'm jumping at that opportunity. And yeah, I got to speak to brand managers of brands like L'Oreal, BP, you name it. And Kusuma Kubani actually, she was the brand manager of BP. No, she was at L'Oreal and then she went to BP. But she worked with a whole lot of people. Pindy Piri, she's at Coca-Cola. Well, she's been at Coca-Cola since I've known her as well. You know, she somehow mentored me. You know, just by sitting and listening to her, the conversations we had with Slicker and Sugar Snacks.
You were learning.
You know, I was learning. I was taking that up, and I could understand that. So, from the inner workings of Coca-Cola, I knew. Went on tour. You know what I mean? With Spotify on an MTN tour. So I met the brand managers at MTN, and a lot of the talented artists, like they don't get involved in the boardroom meetings. So that's where I met Rafika Ramkhasin, who at one stage actually went to school with my older sister when she was in UCT from 2003 to 2005, doing her BCom in economics, her first degree. And then I got to understand how he works. He was managing TKZ, still does to this day. I got to again reunite with Lance, and I interned at his office when we were launching the Alice's first album, Fresh to Death, as well, which I also got the opportunity to do because I was just around in the States and I had a network of other kids as well that we were moving with, and that's the markets that they were targeting with that album. So we got to reconvene. There was also Baby Joe Kowera, you know, who he's City Matunzi. That's his show. One of the longest running shows on SABC as well. So, you know, he also liked me as a kid and looked after me. You know, there's a guy, what's his name? Ngosinazi. Or was it Ngosana? I forgot his name, you know what I mean? But he was like his right-hand man or whatever. And he would give me on the tour 400 Rand a day as a per diem.
Okay.
So they give all the artists 200 Rand a day, 200 Rand a day, 200 Rand a day.
But then you get fine.
Yeah. 400.
So already they were seeing the
Well, the artists were being paid.
Oh,
millions. They were balling. And they were paying us. The guys were doing extra stuff, additional social media stuff. And even when Spotify was on tour, I'd do extra stuff. So I'd do like CD signings, right? Not at Musica. Because Musica is a whole lot of competition. You know, all the CDs are here. So I spoke to Cross Trainer. Because at the time, Cross Trainer was in, Amakiki was in Cross Trainer.
Okay.
And I was also assisting Amakiki with their marketing management at the time and social media at the time while I was still in high school. So when they got into Cross Trainer, Gosana took me along to some of the meetings. That's where I met Julian Frame and Mark Frame, his brothers, the founders of Cross Trainer. This is in high school. High school? Yeah. Got all of this stuff. The networks are making them while I'm still in high school. And when you're still in high school and you're still in your school uniform, everyone wants to teach you. And,
Yeah,
oh,
yeah,
come
yeah.
see this, come see this. So like, you know, I'm going to the cross trainer offices. You know, I'm speaking to Julian Frame. And, yeah, he's eccentric. Let me just put it like that.
Okay.
You know, and that's how I built up those networks, by being helpful, by being useful, and by learning.
By being
present. That's it. You know what I mean? Like where I am, my presence is always felt because I'm always ready to pick up the slack. You know what I mean? Whatever it is, it's like, okay, fine, we've got all this food here, but no one knows how to cook. I'll do that. Okay, I'll cook.
Let's go.
I'll cook.
Yeah.
You guys do whatever you're doing. I'll cook. So then, you know, you want to keep me around because when I'm around, I'm not a burden. In fact, I lighten the load.
Yes.
Everything that you're doing, I'm lightening. It's not non-stick pan. Sorry.
No, it's not non-stick, that one.
Sure.
But I think it's good. Do you split the bacon or you want it to get a bit more time?
This is bacon.
No, it's bacon.
Oh, okay. No, I can only ask me. It sounded like you said bacon.
Oh, no. So, as someone who...
Sorry, I'm just turning the extractor tank down.
Don't worry.
Yeah, it's a little loud.
So as someone who's been in the game for a while, done a lot for the game. The game as it is now, when we're speaking hip hop, we're speaking rap, we're talking culture. Do you think hip hop is dead?
Yeah, of course it's dead.
Do you think it can be saved?
No, it cannot.
So
Puff Daddy's in prison.
So let's keep South African.
No.
South
Hip hop is
African.
a global thing.
Okay.
But it's got a center.
Okay.
The king of New York is in prison.
And
The plugger of everything in hip hop is in prison. It's over. It's over.
no one can save it.
Who's got the influence that Puff Daddy has?
Jay-Z? No? Does he not?
He's got charges now.
Okay. But do you think that?
Kanye has been exited.
But
He makes it look like a lunatic.
culture.
It's
So-
all
so-
about
so-
the human resources, the people.
No, 100%.
So the
right?
culture without the people is nothing.
But-
Who created that culture? It's the Puff Daddies of this world.
Okay.
Yes, exactly. So if those guys, if the fathers, if our dads are all gone, we're all lost kids.
So you think artists like J. Cole, artists like Kendrick,
J. Cole is
artists
not
like
as
Drake-
influential as Puff Daddy.
No, 100%. But
Therefore,
there was never the space, right? So
No, there's no space, guys. This is a very simple thing. There's people that run things. The
Okay.
people that run hip hop are in prison or are facing charges that can't do anything.
So what do you mean by running hip hop? What does
The
that mean?
CEOs.
So we're talking.
The CEOs
Execs
are
of labels
gone.
of
You understand what I'm saying?
radio-
If Christo Visa is in prison, the cashier at ShopRite must know that her job is in jeopardy. The rappers are the cashiers.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So let me put it to you like this. So there was a friend of mine, his nephew wants to rap.
Okay.
So obviously he's my friend and he knows me and the nephew knows, oh, can you please call Uncle Nota?
Yeah.
I really like to rap, I want you to listen to the music. So he's my friend. So I was like, oh, don't worry. Yeah, he's really about this rap thing. I'm like, why does your nephew want to rap? Like, he's like, bro, can you just do me a favor, just talk to him.
Yeah.
And then I said to this young man, I said, young guy, rappers work for us.
Us being the CEO.
Us,
You're the
yes.
executive.
They work for us.
You are the executive.
Yes.
Yeah.
So do you want to be a worker or do you want to be a boss?
Stop
talking about wanting to be a rapper after this.
So building a boss.
What do you mean?
To the country. In
No, I think he just wanted the girls. Sometimes it's not about the passion. Sometimes like, I want to be cool. You know what I mean? If I rap, I'll be cool. So the bosses are all gone.
So would you consider yourself one of South Africa's bosses?
Most definitely. It's not that I consider myself. I am a boss. You know what I mean? I got myself to the stage where all that stuff that they're talking about, that we saw, that we were discussing with Elijah, we can do it on an international level. I did it. I've done it. You know what I mean? I've done it. I've played in the space where I could develop artists, I could develop platforms to get artists to the level of Questa, Majozi, Tyla.
So also you were involved in the making of Majozi and her
Yeah, somewhat.
and the exporting of her.
Well, it's not that. Yeah, actually, yeah. Well, I mean, her music went viral. Then I helped her get an international label deal.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. And then same thing with Tyla, you were involved.
It was the same deal.
So you are Tyla's management?
No, I'm not. I'm the guy that made sure she got signed.
Overseas.
Yeah.
So how did that work? How did you make that epic connection?
I went to the States. I met Sylvia Rome. I spoke to her about Majozi. She was interested. And
Both
then,
for Tyla and Shaw.
no, she was interested in Majozi.
Okay.
Majozi won the BET.
Mm-hmm.
I was accompanying her to the awards, and that's how I met Sylvia Rome on the sidelines. I went to another event separately while she was busy shooting music video. I think for the song called or something like that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So after that, you know, she wanted to depart from her label, Fax Records.
Okay.
You know, and yeah, so I ensured that she could depart from her label and still have Fax Records also get a deal because, you know, I didn't want her people
To have bad blood.
yeah, exactly. Oh, to be cut out of the deal.
Okay.
To have bad blood with me, and then they found Tyla. And then
At the time, had Tyla released what was it before? What had
this is all before, this is 2021.
Oh, so Tyla you knew Tyla was going to be the star before.
No, I didn't even know Tyla. I'm saying I got the deal for Majozi. Majozi wanted the deal for herself and she wanted to leave her label.
And then
But the deal is on the table.
okay.
So the deal was for Majozi to have her own deal and for Fax Records to have the same deal, but for another artist. Their mission is to go out and find this artist. And then they found Tyla, and then they gave her the same deal. And then the rest is history. But the day I met her, the day I met Tyla, you know, I looked at her and I was like, yes, you've got everything. The day I met her, like, I laid eyes on her and I said, you are a superstar. You're a global superstar, and you need to start thinking like that and believing that. And then we took some pictures, and that was that.
And where was she in her career? What are times before?
No, this is before. This is I met her after It's Getting Late.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
that was the first.
Yeah. Was it the one with is it
Cool Drink, yeah.
Okay, so you, in terms of orchestrating the hip hop game, have done a lot. So my question, my follow-up, right, is in terms of that, what discretion do you apply? Because I know you work very closely with Questa, right? I know you did some things there.
So I developed it.
100%. So in terms of Questa, then why wasn't he getting the same deals as someone like Shaw Majozi?
No, Shaw Majozi only got the deal because of the success of Questa. So the only reason I was called up to the table to discuss such deals, just that I knew that Questa's too old. And Shoma Josie was younger and she was a female. Okay. So I thought it would work better with a female artist. A female artist got a better chance of success with the direction that the music industry is going.
Okay.
Yeah. So Questa basically created the opportunity for the international deal. And then I took that international deal and gave it to Shoma Josie.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. And if you had the opportunity to do it again, would you do it the same?
Yeah. I mean, is Tyla not, the biggest pop star in the world right now?
Yeah. But that's the other thing that I want to then ask, right? From at least when I listen to Shaw Majozi, when I listen to Tyla, they are obviously moments when they become a little bit more lyrical with it and stuff like that. But for me, they're pop artists. They make pop to an extent.
Popular music, yeah.
Yes. But you were in the hip hop game.
No, hip hop is not a religion. I'm not, I don't pray to the God of hip hop.
Okay.
I'm in the music game.
Okay, I just want to check this one. That's good.
Yeah, no, it's still good. Sorry, it's disappointing. So I'm in the music game. I'm in the music business.
Okay.
I've always been in the music business.
Okay.
That's because I had a love for hip hop as it was growing, and then it became pop. Hip hop became pop.
So in terms of the leader, you're the leader of the music game, not the hip hop game.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And I'm the, what can you say? I'm the ambassador for African music, I guess.
Oh, okay, okay. So, in terms of then circling back, because remember there was a bigger point. You said that you can feel that politically you have a purpose that is kind of instilled in you. And through hip hop, through rap, through gaining a level of success,
I gained credibility personally.
Yes,
so
you can influence.
So Tyla becomes successful, Shoma Josie becomes successful. You know what I mean? I don't know how long she's going to do the music thing or anything else. Questa is a success,
Okay.
We released successful music with Kid X. I've written and composed for a number of artists, the Tutsis, the whatever, even my former wife, All of that stuff I've built up my credibility. I've done it in Afro pop. I've done it in rap and hip hop. I've done it in traditional music. You know what I mean? With a modern twist. You know, it's being done in pop and R&B right now. You know, without me having to be actively involved.
Okay.
And all of that credibility means that I can parlay that for influence politically.
Yes, which was my next question.
Yeah, because like, let's say Vusi Tembawai wants to become the president of South Africa. They will say, okay, where is your Cerebus? Where is your Steers? Where is your Woolworths?
Okay.
Mina, I can point to my Tyla, my Majozi, my Oyster, my KX, my Taxis, my, you know, those are the products that are produced, those are successes that are produced, you know, on a global level, competing with the biggest in the world. You know what I mean? At a Grammy level, at a Billboard level. You know what I mean? So we can't compete against that. There isn't a ShopRite in the United States. So Christo VC has not leveled up to the point where his brand or his products
global. So it's not where you are right now.
You know what I mean? So I'm beyond the owner of ShopRite. You know what I mean? I'm at Nando's level.
So that's my next question. How are you using your political influence at the moment? Because you've got it, right?
Yeah.
You've told us that you've built a brand that has allowed you to get it. So you've got it. How are you using it?
Now I'm building a political platform.
Okay.
Yeah.
Give us more insight.
That's it. Well, what it looks like is an independent platform. Yes. No, for me.
Okay.
For me, it's got nothing to do with the youth or anything else. The country needs leadership. And needs someone who's determined to lead without personal material benefit. What I did for Majozi is that I paid PH to record her. So I paid for all her studio time for her first album, which won Summers, and then I got her an international deal. You understand what I'm saying? It's not to say that I was sitting there directing what she's doing or anything else. I made sure that the resources that she needed were there, and then that's it. I facilitated that. Same thing for almost everybody else, and other people I got even more involved. So the same thing with the political platform, it needs someone who can lead it. Okay. You know what I mean? So if you look at the talents that I've worked with as like the talents that South Africa has in terms of people, like human beings, it needs someone who's going to be out there and represent their best interests. And that's the purpose of that political platform. Building myself to a point where I now have the power to use my influence to benefit people.
And where are you going to use that influence? Right? South African, you're going to use the influence in politics?
South Africa a superpower.
Politically?
No, just in general. The same way you speak about the United States, the same way you speak about China, the same way you speak about whatever it is, Japan, all these big countries, I want South Africa to be considered the same way. Because I believe that our people and our culture is so valuable, right, that it can be commercialized and used to benefit us materially as a people. Okay, so we're going to get into the last part of our conversation while we deal with these. We're back for the last segment, last half of our conversation, last third. I just want to know, right? You've spoken to us about the confidence that you have, you've spoken to us about the household and what that meant, but there is also been lots and lots of controversy surrounding when you brand. So I want to understand, because as much as you do say you're confident, you do have a presence in the room, what does that do to you as a person, mentally? The content controversy and that kind of thing, is it something that's ever affected you? Is it something that's ever gotten to you? And if not, what are the type of mechanisms you have in place to prevent it? Well, I'd say for parents of children, give them self-confidence.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So I've never been afraid that I might say something and other kids will laugh at me. You understand? And that's where the confidence comes from. So from as a kid, you know, also knowing that I intimidate people since I was a child, you know, gave me the confidence to, you know, just not care what people think. So I've never cared. So even now, it doesn't ever affect me. Yeah. You know.
So the scale of the controversy doesn't matter?
In fact, the bigger, the better. Because it means more impact, more influence. You know. And I'm not on a mission to try and convince everyone to like me. I don't care whether they like me or not. Yeah, I'd rather be right than be liked.
So because we know in recent news you've had your fair share of encounters with the law, right? And what has that looked like for you? And could you perhaps give context behind why there was a lot of back and forth?
Well, you always have encounters with the law as a black man. The system is designed to have you imprisoned so that you are stifled from gaining economic opportunity, because there's limited economic opportunity. So what's the best place to put all these black men that we can't give opportunity to? So put them in prison. You know what I mean? That's how we get rid of the problem.
Okay.
You know what I mean? If you put them in prison, they can't reproduce. You know what I mean? So they can't make babies. And yeah, that's the system. So they've been created like that. I mean, the prison system was created so that they would enslave people again, because they outlawed slavery, and they're like, okay, how are we going to get cheap labor? Oh, let's put them in prison. Let's find crimes for them to commit. Let's create crimes, and then we know that they'll commit those crimes, and then we imprison them, and that's it. So, like even now, it's like you need to understand that a lot of people don't understand the level of influence I have. So even with my controversy, it was because I knew that they killed my friend, AKA, you know what I mean? And I knew that he doesn't come from a rich or influential family. And therefore, the story around how he came to be killed is going to be hidden unless someone with influence who's not scared, you know what I mean, speaks out about it. So I spoke out about it, and then they did whatever they did. I was sued by each and every one of the biggest law firms in the country, and I wasn't scared, you know. I wasn't shaken. And then it meant that, you know, I ended up getting sentenced, and then I had to serve the sentence, you know. So I avoided it for as long as I can. I spent a year in the United States, and as soon as I landed back in South Africa, I got arrested. Then, fortunately for me, the warrant for my arrest could only be enforceable within the Randburg West jurisdiction. So, or Tambo Airport is not in Randburg West. So I was able to come back home, you know what I mean, to my parents and my family, and then I just avoided Joburg for a while, and then eventually I had another run-in with the law, you know, with someone trying to blackmail me, for like trying to blackmail me with sexual assault accusations, which they thought that I would pay them. You know what I mean? And I said, no, take it to the police. I will fight you in court and prove my innocence in court. I'm not going to be blackmailed over something I know. I'm confident that I didn't do. And yeah, so like I didn't think that, you know, sexual abuse allegations would be able to tarnish my reputation, and they haven't. You know what I mean? I walk around in the streets, no one says, hey, you're a offender or whatever. You know what I mean? They say, hey, we feel really bad about what you're going through, but you know, we have faith in you. And the level of influence that I've got into, sorry, we're in Africa, guys, flies are alive. Yeah. So the level of influence that I've got into meant that I even influenced people in the prison cells. So prisoners used to contact me a lot. You know, we just got your content, you know what I mean? You encourage us. Just, you know, want you to know, keep going, keep doing what you're doing. So prisoners, like what you would call people that are supposed to be out of society, are calling me, getting hold of my phone numbers, and are able to contact me. And you know, I gotta give a shout out to Kid X for that, because his dad was the head of prisons at Sun City Prison at some point in time. You know, and he took care of that. And even when we recorded his album, we started recording it in the prison warder's residence at Sun City Prison. You know, so when I was telling people that, yo, I've got people inside prison, and trust me, they're saying they see what's going on, and if I have to come there, they'll take care of me, they'll make sure nothing bad happens to me. Those promises are guaranteed, and you know, they got to make good on their promises. And so, you know, I'm not afraid of that, and you can't be afraid of that, because that's what they use as a threat. To say, we'll imprison you.
Sorry to cut you there, but I want to dive a bit more into that, right? Because I think people don't speak about the nature of South African prisons and the system. How was that? Was it the type of thing where you get there, you're just being slapped around the whole day? Like, what does it look like? What does the first day look like? What does the last day look like? Just,
you see,
paint the picture of
every single monster that goes bump in the night, every single thing you're scared of, you sleep with in prison. You know, are you scared of murderers?
Yeah, I think
Are you scared of serial killers? Are you scared of serial rapists? All of them are in prison. You know what I mean? Do you hate cockroaches? Do you hate bed bugs? All of them are in prison. That's it. It's your worst nightmare. Lived out every day. You have a nightmare in your bed in prison, if you've got a bed in prison, because our prisons are so overcrowded that people sleep on the floors, you know. We had 22 beds in my cell C24 at Sun City.
And did you have a bed?
Yeah.
Okay.
I told you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there was 22 beds and there were 70 of us in our cell. You know, so yeah, exactly that, exactly, you know what I mean? And there were 14 of us that were South Africans out of the 70.
14?
Yeah.
So, okay, how did you end up getting a bed? Because I assume there's a hierarchy.
Yeah, at the top of the hierarchy, the guy said, yo, Nota's coming, please leave a bed for it. That's it, simple.
So,
and there's a hierarchy, so if the top of the hierarchy says, yo, there's someone who's coming, please give that to him, then the prisoners, as soon as I arrive, they're like, yo, they told us you're coming, here's your space, here's this, what else do you need? You need clothes, okay, cool, we'll arrange that quickly, and then yeah.
So, in terms of then comfort and stuff, you were living comfortably in the context of a prison, right? Like as comfortable as
Well, I wasn't being
prison cells.
harassed and assaulted. That's it.
At least by the inmates.
Yeah, or anyone, even the prison warders. Yeah, you know what I mean?
And then what was the food situation
But,
like?
I mean, the food is a food situation, but I got the kosher menu.
Okay.
Yeah, but you pay for that. You know what I mean? It's like Jewish people can pay 20 rand a month to get fed a different diet, a kosher diet. They eat rice and all that stuff. Everybody else eats like grits and pap. Yeah, and it had better quality meat on the kosher diet, so I had the funds to afford that.
Okay.
But other than that, you know, it is what it is. But I was like under a heavy spotlight. Like my cell got raided 3 times while I was there. You know what I mean? They raided it all the time because I was there. You know, so it does make you a little bit uncomfortable because the other prisoners will be like, because of you now they're raiding us. Now, you know what I mean? But there's a hierarchy. So even if they can complain, there's a hierarchy. You know what I mean? If he tries something, I'll just tell the hierarchy and, you know, it'll be a very tough time for him. And I'm there for 60 days, right? They're there for however many years, 10 years, 15 years, you know what I mean? So if they cause problems for me who's leaving, they stay with those problems and they stay behind for a number of years. They wouldn't want to do that.
So you already said prior in the conversation that you were already building some influence within the prison.
Well, every prisoner knew who I was. Every prison warden knew
So
who I
what
was.
did that look like? How were you influencing them within the prison? Were you...
No, the influence was already there. They know they know my content. They watch my content.
No, 100%. But what my question is more directed towards is how are you using that influence? Are you guys just chilling as prisoners? Are you helping them with legal things? Are you helping them with music? Or you're just chilling?
Once you're in prison, it's over. That won't help. Some prisoners give themselves a false sense that I can appeal. You know what I mean? I sat there with enough prisoners who've been there, like maybe been there 20 years. And they'd be like, yeah, the first couple of years, dude thinks he's going to get out. He thinks his lawyers are going to get him out. But your lawyers are just milking you for money. You're in prison, what are you going to do to them? Exactly.
So what's the craziest thing then that you...
The craziest thing is that it feels safer
in prison?
Yes, that's what I noticed. It feels safer in prison than out.
In what sense?
As in, no one's got a gun. Outside, people have guns. They can shoot you. In prison, you're with a mass murderer and gun, and he can't do anything to you. You know what I mean? So I call Sun City Monsters Inc.
Oh, why is that?
Because it's where all the monsters are.
Yeah. But obviously, that safety only comes from the fact that there was a hierarchy that protected you, no? So if you weren't part of the hierarchy...
No, it's pretty safe. I think the thing that stops gang violence happening right now is because there's only 14 South Africans. And then all the other foreigners are from multiple countries, and the foreigners outnumber us. You know what I mean? So you can only really be in a gang if you're from here. You can't have a foreign gang, because there's not enough foreigners that stay there for a long time. Most of them are there for 3 months, 4 months, 7 months, and then they get deported. You know what I mean? The other ones who've been there for like a long time, the ones who get life in prison, like Ananias Mate, you know what I mean? He was from Mozambique. So he was at Hosimampur. You know, he even escaped and then was caught again and then died. You know, those guys are the serious criminals, but they are few and far between. So there are very few mass murderers from outside the country. Most of the guys who do the serious crimes that keep you in there for a long time, they're there for a while. Now just think about it like this, it's also like a psychological thing, like how do you tame the prisoner? So I was in a medium security, Sunset is medium. It's not like Hosimambur maximum. And some of the people come from Hosimambur maximum. You know, after you spend 10 or 15 years in maximum, then you get reduced to medium, and then maybe you can get parole after 25 or 30 years, you know. So all the monster instinct in them has been worked out. So in Hosimambur, this is what happens. You're in a single cell, small ass cell, you know what I mean? And then there's still the showers that you have to take, right? And then they knock on your door when it's time to shower.
The warden.
Yes. Now turn around. Turn around.
Okay.
Yeah. Put your hands behind your back.
Okay.
And then you're about to shower, right?
Yeah.
So before they put the handcuffs on you, they tase you. And then they handcuff you. And then you get walked to the shower, right? And then they take off your handcuffs, you shower.
Okay.
And then when you're done showering, turn around. Small shower.
And then you turn around.
You turn around. Don't do a small shower.
Okay. And then they take you again.
And then you go back to yourself.
And that's Hosi.
Mambur. Now imagine that's your everyday for 10 years. When you come out of there, you know the Bible back to front. That's another thing about Hosi Mambur, is that they make you recite the Bible.
Who? The warden?
Yes!
As we have.
And if you recite it wrong, you get beaten up. So by the time you leave Hosi Mambur, you know the Bible back to front. It's been beaten into you. Yeah? Be very scared. It's not a holiday. You know what I mean? I was there for 18 nights. And each night I was like, I can't wait to get home. You know, there are people that the day that I was arrested with, some of them, you know, they're nyauke addicts, they smoke crack or crystal or whatever it is, you know what I mean? Within 3 days they found crack. It's not rehab in there. So every single drug that's outside, it's also inside prison.
So surely every single, maybe not every single, but
Every single drug.
drugs and stuff like that.
No.
That's what I'm asking.
Yeah,
so
because
if
they scan, they search you.
get
They
contraband.
No, I mean, a drug is not a weapon. You can't stab someone. You can't even have a spoon, a metal spoon. Yeah. You know what I mean? So they raid all the time. It's a serious offense to have something like this. It's a serious offense. Bro, you were there for years. Every day is a nightmare. Why would you get caught with a spoon and extend your nightmare? Just because you had a spoon. Now you've got another 5 years you have to spend here. Or you might get transferred to Pusimambu. Because you're a problem here. Or get transferred to Mangawoon. That's a high maximum. Or transferred to Kokstad. In Kokstad, it gets so cold that the water freezes. They open the shower and there's nothing. It's ice. Or you get transferred to Venda. In Venda, it's 35 degrees. Minimum through summer. Imagine that. You're cooking. You're being cooked. You get no sunlight, like 35 degrees heat. You understand what I'm saying? So, prison is not a joke, man. Prison is not some way you want to. Just imagine this. You wake up from a nightmare into a worse nightmare. Your nightmares don't scare you anymore.
Yes.
They don't. Like now I have nightmares. But like, I've spent so much time having nightmares and then waking up into a worse nightmare. That like, when I have a nightmare, I can't even remember I had a nightmare. I get told, oh, you were moving around in your sleep last night. I was like, oh, really? Oh, you were having a nightmare? Oh, really? It's like, oh, okay. So you know what I mean? Before my prison experience, I had a nightmare. Like, oh, I had the worst nightmare last night, Joe. I was in prison. You know what I mean? It's like, it gets no worse than that.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Also,
like, also it's like, it's weird. Like, there'll be guys having a conversation, right? So a guy comes in for attempted murder. And the guys are like, why didn't you just kill him? That's a normal conversation amongst the prisoners. Like, now you're here, and you didn't even kill the guy's outside. Why didn't you just kill him? You as a normal person that can't even fathom thinking like that, it's like, what are these guys saying? You understand what I'm saying? So yeah, it's crazy.
So
it's crazy.
Outside of that,
and you've got no access to the outside world, you know. So you've got no phone, nothing. when your people visit you, you look at them through a screen. I had no contact visits, so you look at them through a thing, and there's like a receiver, an intercom that you press the button, and they speak and then they listen, and one person speaks at a time. It's a very uncomfortable situation. Like, I didn't want my mother to come to visit me, but she kept on insisting, you know what I mean, and they couldn't keep her away. So, like, on my third visit, my mother came, and, you know, she saw me, you know what I mean. She was worried, you know, but when she saw me, she's like, okay. It allayed her fears, but it's not a place that you want your mother to come to, you know what I mean. Like, I'm sure my mother still has nightmares about visiting me there. Yeah.
So, outside of that, right, because that seemed like it was tough, it was a difficult experience, but you've managed it, you're out now. How are you coping with your other legal run-in or trouble, which is you are now a divorced man, still in the process of it?
No, my divorce is finalized.
It's finalized. How are you coping with that? Or was it never anything too deep? It was strictly legal?
It's like, you know, when you get scammed.
Oh.
And then now you're out of the scam. It's like, you know.
So what is the scam? The marriage?
Yeah.
Marriage as an institution or
no,
the marriage itself?
The person that was marrying me to get something out of me, and when they felt they couldn't get it out of me, they wanted to leave the marriage. Marriage is supposed to be a forever thing. You know what I mean? That's what I was raised with. That's how I was raised with both my parents. You know what I mean? So if someone says in front of God, until death do us part, and then death is not the reason that does us part, they've scammed you because they're giving you a false promise. They haven't delivered on that promise. So you know what I mean? So yeah.
So we hear that, and I think you've really painted a full picture of who you are from birth. We've spoken about your journey. We've spoken about where you were.
Yeah, and I just told you how this tastes.
Yeah, please take a bite of that.
You see, there's a method that you're supposed to employ. You took your pinky finger and your thumb at the bottom.
Okay.
And that's how you keep the thing together, unlike yours.
Oh.
Oh.
We did something good. Quick meal. Quality. What do you say?
My ex-wife wrote a song about me. It's called Zanem Vula.
What is it?
He who comes with the rain.
Okay.
It's raining now. Shame back.
So you always make sure that you keep up to your namesake, even for your parents.
Yeah. I come with the answers, I come with the name.
Come with the rain.
Everything.
So to wrap it all up, what is something you'd like the chefs to know at home? What do you want your legacy to be? Because you've told us you're going to make an impact, you're going to make South Africa a superpower. Or it's maybe something you've never shared with the world, something you want to tell them to think about, anything. And then let us know who you think we should bring on the show. And tell us if you'll use your influence to bring them here.
You guys are a hip hop show, right?
No.
But you're hip hop fans.
Not really.
Okay, who's your favorite?
Hip hop.
Anyone. Who's your favorite right now that you want to talk to?
J. Cole's crazy.
That's a little bit tough. That's tough.
So
That's someone who's local around.
he knows.
Bring your name, local.
Yeah.
McLaren.
Maclara, yeah.
His favorite house.
Maclara for sure.
His favorite.
Cool?
Yeah, done deal.
Done deal?
Yeah, done deal. There you go.
And then the final thing, leave us with something, leave the chefs with something.
Yeah, man. Anything you want to do, you can do.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Be your own musician. Shock yourself.
Nota, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. You know, I haven't eaten lunch, so if you don't mind me, I need to finish.
No stress, please get into that. Chefs at home, that was episode 1 of Chop It Up. We chopped it up literally, we chopped it up figuratively. We walked through the life of Nota from start to finish, but it's not done yet. He tells us he's still cooking. He's still got more things to come, so stay tuned, stay watching. Maglera, that was Chop It Up episode 1.
You make